boys and girls of every age, would you like to see some?
Happy Halloween, everybody! It's that time of year when the kids can dress up, the ladies can look their best, and we all get free candy. Now, what is the most common costume people go as? I mean, besides the slutty variations of anything for women and Disney princesses, horror movie icons. Think about it. How many times have you walked down the street and saw someone in a Michael Myers mask? Or a hockey mask waving around a plastic machete? Or even some strange leather contraption that they slapped on their face and are carrying around a fake chainsaw? Well, I have to say, I love horror movies. As a child, they were my favorite. I remember seeing Child's Play 3 and fearing my toy box for years until I outgrew my playthings. I remember sneaking into the living room at night and watching the gory, horrifying goodness of Nightmare on Elm Street and the Saw franchise while my parents were asleep. I remember watching the grotesqueness of Jeepers Creepers as a second grader to prove myself braver than my best friend. I loved it. Now, I don't get scared anymore from the horror movies. Why? Well, most would say that I'm just older and I don't get scared as easily, but I looked back at a few of my childhood favorites and I was, again, horrified, now with a youthful fascination with the gore and the violence. Well, I've come up with a theory. The new horror movies coming out are just running off of what was original at one point. In 1960, Alfred Hitchcock adapted Robert Bloch's 1959 novel Psycho into a masterpiece that didn't create the horror movie genre, but innovated it perfectly, giving the movie viewing audience a template for the horror movie monster/killer's psyche. The modern slasher films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th have sick and twisted killers who horrified audiences. Supernatural horrors like Child's Play franchise or The Exorcist gave audiences a fear of a world that might possibly exist and they aren't able to see, thus they cannot fight it. Body horror or splatter horror franchises simply horrified audiences with how far they could go with the gross out factor. Now, yeah, I know, viewer, I hear ya.
But Jay, you scarily interesting man, you. What's the difference between body and splatter horror?
Well, lovely viewer, thank you for asking. And for that, I don't really know off the top of my head, but I will direct you to our new resident genius, Erwin. Take it away, Erwin.
Thank you, Jay. Body horror is horror fiction in which horror is principally derived from the graphic destruction and degeneration of the body through disease, decay, parasitism, mutilation, or mutation, as well as unnatural movements or the anatomically incorrect placement of limbs to create monsters or creatures out of human body parts. This is seen in films like American Mary, The Human Centipede, and Repo Man. Splatter horror deliberately focuses on graphic portrayals of gore and graphic violence through the use of special effects and excessive blood and guts. Directors tend to display an overt interest in the vulnerability of the human body and the theoreticality of its mutilation. This is seen in movies like Cannibal Holocaust or the Hostel series.
Very good. In the case of slasher films, there's only so many ways a deranged killer can dispatch a person. Jason can only hack up so many horny camp counselors, and Freddy Krueger may be creative in his delivery, but one can only stand so many corny ways that he kills sleeping children. And don't get me started on Leatherface. In the case of the supernatural, one can only watch a ghost pop out of a dark corner or passive-aggressively push an unimportant object half an inch. Though I will give credit to Hollywood that the one supernatural horror that I've seen in the past few years that was actually really well done was Insidious. It is excellent in its presentation, setting everything from music to camera angle up for tension, giving you a drawn-out chilling of the spine before you can finally relax. Also, it didn't follow the worn-out cliches. The family is threatened by a collection of spirits in the film and are told to leave their house. And you know what they do? They actually leave the house. The people are smart until the concept of another dimension comes up. And they aren't colossal imbeciles, like most horror movie protagonists. The horror movie genre is a bit of a decline. The ideas, once original and groundbreaking, are now stale and lacking their original luster. Not to say that there aren't good horror movies coming out, it's just not the way they used to be. Well, we'll see what happens with Hollywood. Maybe one day we can get our iconic slasher films back, and maybe we can recapture the horror movie scare that once inhabited all movie-going populations. Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Happy Halloween to you lovely viewers. Happy All Hallows Eve for you Wiccans, and happy Dia de los Muertos for those of you in the Hispanic community. Oh, also, if any little children are listening and you plan on trick-or-treating, you should probably listen to this. You really should check your candy when you're done. I mean, I know it's something your parents probably tell you all the time, but you should probably listen to them. Inspect it. I mean, like, really get in there. The slightest opening in your candy probably indicates that you shouldn't eat it. Somebody could have spiked it or put something else in it. It's just a good idea not to eat it. As for me, I'll be up to my knees in Skittles, and I'll be crashing Halloween parties on Sorority Row at Anywhere USA University. The benefits of living in a college town. Have fun.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween, everybody make a scene. Trick or treat, tell the neighbors on the